in this video, I would like to give you the opportunity to support this entity here, Saeed Mobayed, via Patreon. For you guys who don't know, are not familiar with Patreon, Patreon is an online platform where you can support your favorite content creators with as little as $2 a month. Okay? So I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, the idea of patronage started off, or let's say became prevalent in the Renaissance period. The Renaissance period is roughly between 1400 and 1800, and it took place in Europe, particularly in Italy and Austria and Hungary, the Holy Roman Empire. And it was a period where art, science, architecture flourished. And there were so many geniuses, like people who are just dedicated for their architecture, or they're dedicated for, like drawing and the Mona Lisa or whatever, and the architecture and science, right? Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and of course, if you're a human being, you've got basic needs to meet, like eating and shelter and clothes, right? So the richer people in those times, they admired the art so much because it became a thing. It became like a thing. It became a thing to sponsor some really talented artists so you can show off to the other members of the court. Okay, it became a thing. So then they would sponsor them so that they could just focus on their art, focus on creating their content at the time in that specific period. So I like the idea. The idea, it's nice. It's nice because if you take it a modern time, this would be like the community supporting itself. This would be like, you know what it would be like? It would be like your body healing itself. I mean, because there is no separation. That's just a very hilarious, absurd, egoic illusion that I am the separate entity. It's me and other. It's really hilarious because, like for example, when you want to heal your body and you sleep, your body just heals itself. Sleep and fasting are the best ways to heal your body, but it's just healing itself. There is the Tao, there is the way, there's a force there that's just happening, that's doing its thing. You didn't heal yourself. Healing just happened. So what I like about the concept of Patreon, it's exactly the same, because we are a community. We are, the entity Saeed Mobayed, it's just an extension of my gut microbiome, for example. It constitutes Saeed Mobayed, right? It's a community, but really it's a community within a community within a community, and you know how it goes. It goes on and on like this for infinity. So I like the idea of Patreon because it's just sort of the community supporting itself, if you will. Just sort of, it's a self-supporting mechanism, much like sleeping and fasting to heal the physical body. I really like the idea. So if you would like to contribute, now I'll tell you right now, I don't do this full time. I don't do YouTube full time. Although I am obsessed with everything and I cannot help but make videos and I cannot help but be all the time obsessed with this stuff, I do part time. I drive Uber, mostly Uber and Lyft, but honestly I get more calls from Uber. Okay, because I'm in Ottawa, Lyft is new, so Uber is better. So I do Uber right now for part time to just pay the bills. Okay, you guys, if you have followed my videos, I mean, you've seen, like, I have stuff down to 2 bags, right? And I'm planning a move to Turkey and East Asia, Thailand specifically soon, precisely to just minimize expenses and make life very, very simple. Now, the income, before you could make a good living off of AdSense from YouTube, right? It's not the case anymore. It isn't the case anymore. So it fluctuates. I have a fitness channel. I get some money from the ads. It used to be way more back in the day. Now it's it's not even, it's very little, to be honest, right now. Okay, so Patreon would provide me, I mean, this is now, look, there's two motives. I'm gonna be honest with you, there's two motives here. There's a very selfish motive here, and there's also a selfless motive. But remember, we always talk about being in paradox, living in paradox. The selfish motive is, I would like to do this full time. I would like to have a predictable, stable backing to this. So Patreon, having a certain amount of certain number of Patreons would guarantee that. It would be sort of like a stable thing where I know, okay, we don't have to do any work. We don't have to, worry about paying this month's rent or that or this or that or this bill, right? And I can just continue to do this stuff, do what I do, okay? That's very selfish of me. That is very selfish, okay? It's selfish. I mean, I'm basically telling you, hey, can you support me? Can you help me here so that I could just do what I do? It is selfish, okay? But nevertheless, I am admitting to you that that's a selfish motive here. The other motive, and this is the selfless motive, okay? I really have been wanting to start a charity. And I don't want to talk too much about that because first, if we can, I know this is sort of, I just gotta keep doing this and we gotta see how it goes, but if we can gather enough Patreons to sort of cover the basics, okay, the very basic expenses, just so I can maintain myself, maintain my physical body, have some food to eat and have a shelter to stay in. And believe me, I'm moving abroad to places that are much cheaper, so it won't even be that much to cover everything, okay? If we can get there, anything beyond there, we'll go to charity. And I'll be very transparent, very honest with you guys about like my expenses. If they change, who knows, maybe I want to start a family, but I'll be very honest, okay? It is very, very honest. And I want to start a charity, not because I'm good, not because Saeed is a light worker and he's amazing and he's great and he's doing all the great work and he's so helpful, not because of that, but because I have an urge. There is something in me that just wants to start a charity, and particularly for homeless people. I think maybe for homeless people because I'm seeing, like, where I live in Ottawa here, there's a lot of them. And it sucks because it's so cold right now. But they're out there, they're begging, So anybody who's been to Ottawa, we have a serious problem here with homeless people. And I really don't know. In my mind, that this is the part where I don't want to talk about too much at the moment, okay? Simply because we're not there yet. Once we're there, we can sit down and discuss and we can sort of all agree okay, we have this extra money that we have here. It's all us anyway. It's just, again, it's an entity. It's all us. So where do we want to locate this money now? Okay? So that's the second part. That's the selfless motive. And they're both there. Make no mistake about it. In the meantime, if you want to help me with my selfish motive of doing this and focusing on creating content full-time, then I would really appreciate your help, okay? I would really appreciate it. It would mean a lot, as something as little as buying me a cup of tea. That's $2 a month. If a few people decide to do that, believe me, it adds up. And as I'm moving to Turkey and Thailand, the costs to maintain my physical body and my shelter will not even be much. So we'll actually get to a point where we have quite a bit of money beyond to go for the selfless motive, which is the charity part. So I'm going to leave a link for it down below, for the Patreon, down below in the description, down below in the comments. Do not feel obligated that you have to do this or something like that, because in all honesty, I am not going to treat anybody differently. If you decide to support this entity, Saeed Mobayed, this project, this blah blah, this happening, okay, in all honesty, I'm not going to treat you any more special than somebody who watches the videos but never comments, never leaves. They just watch the videos, because I have it written on my walls. Dedicate the fruits of your actions to Krishna, and he will distribute them as his grace sees fit. Now, Krishna is the God, it's the Godhead, right? And when we do things, that's karma yoga. When we do things, we do them because. You know, like the whole idea with the charity, it's because. It's not because I'm good, because the minute you have an intention behind it, it's not pure. It's not a pure action. You're not dedicating the fruits of your action to Krishna, to God, to the divine. You see, it's an impure action. And I'm not doing a very good job, but I'm trying my best here. I'm trying my best to keep this as much as I can, to dedicate the fruits of my action to Krishna. So if you want to support us via Patreon, the reason why nobody gets a special treatment really per se, although we will have a community in Patreon itself, but what I'm saying is, in my mind, there is no like elevation. Oh, you support, so you're better. Because if you want to do it, you dedicate the fruits of your action to Krishna. You just do it because you do it, because you do it, because you're inclined to do it, because you're inclined to do it. You understand? That's the same thing with love. We love because we're love, because we're love, because we're love. We do things because, not because. The minute anything after because, it's a storyline. Now we're in the realm of ego. Now we're in the realm of, oh, look at how cool I am, and we're now in the realm of mental projections. Okay, so enough said here. I appreciate whatever your actions are. Okay, I appreciate the support, if it's financial, if it's in any way possible. Okay, and that's about it. Until next time, may the force be with you.